We have some good news, but also some bad news today for Tesla's stock, which made the stock basically move together with the broader market. Although EV stocks today were doing quite well except BYD. We finally have a confirmation of Tesla's next factory in Mexico. Tesla will invest at least $1 billion. That's certainly good news, although I think at this point everyone was expecting an announcement to build an automotive factory in Mexico, but Mexico's president said that a battery deal is not confirmed yet. Another reason why it makes sense to build a factory in Mexico is because Mexico has free trade agreements with about 50 countries. Here's the list. Some of them are country blocks like European Union. And yeah, this might turn out to be a good export hub into certain countries as well. Many are also wondering how far is this factory going to be from Giga Texas? Well, it's about 6.5 hours. Here's how that looks on a map. Giga Texas is located in Austin, and this is where that new location is going to be. The distance comes to about 400 miles, so that will be more than how many the standard range semi can handle, which is 300 miles, but the long range semi will be able to handle that route no problem. I would agree with James that the most important question that remains is which models or model will be produced in that new location. I would expect the next generation platform, Generation 3, to be produced over there. I think we will probably find out tomorrow at the Investor Day exactly what Tesla is going to build there. There is a general consensus that on Investor Day, Tesla stock will move. Wall Street expects it to fall. But James, who sometimes can be very critical of Tesla, expects that it will rise because Tesla is still so undervalued fundamentally. Elon replied to this tweet saying that these are kind words from Toyota. There was this article saying Tesla Model Y under the skin is a true work of art, says Toyota. There's also a translation, it appears, from Japanese to plain English, which I'm not going to read, but the sentiment seems to be roughly right. Toyota people also said, it's unbelievable. It's a whole different manufacturing philosophy. We need a new platform designed as a blank sheet EV. It took them about, 10 years to figure this out, but finally it appears that they are getting it. Until maybe next month, they will change their mind again. We'll see. Dylan shared some good insights on Twitter showing proof that the stock market is completely detached from reality in the short term. Currently, look at Toyota stock today. It is actually green. It took Toyota executives years and a teardown to realize what non-industry retail investors like us have been saying for years, how advanced Tesla vehicles are. I'll never understand, says Dylan, how this level of ignorance can happen at a $200 billion company. Truly absurd. This Reuters article says a decade ago, when Toyota took a stake in Tesla and the two collaborated to produce a battery electric version of the RAV4, many Toyota engineers believed Tesla's technology was no threat, two of the sources said. They concluded back then there wasn't much to learn, one of the sources said. That aged exactly like Elon Musk. Another thing to note about Toyota here, and specifically about Wall Street, is that Wall Street evaluates company performance in the rearview mirror. And more good news for Tesla. Tesla is about to officially start deliveries for Model S and X in China. China's government gave Elon a warning. You may pause and read everything on the screen. All you need to see is just right here. Although, interestingly, currently, China is trying to welcome foreign capital. There's another, basically, attack from Consumer Reports, you could say, because we don't know. How do software updates that actually improve a car, how does that supposedly affect the reliability of the vehicle from the view of Consumer Reports? We don't know because they don't tell us. And Tesla Model X made it to the top 10 list of the most unreliable EVs, and the Model S was number 8, although there's no Model 3 and Model Y on this list, which is a good thing. But also interestingly, they did not test some other EVs like the Hyundai Ioniq 6 or the Lucid Air. So yeah, this is not really a complete list, but still not a great list for Tesla, although this includes most of the EVs you can get in the US for the most part. They should make another list of EVs that you can actually buy today in the US, and that list would roughly look the same. Not exactly, but very similar. And here are the bad news that many investors are not liking, although there is a silver lining here. We just got the delivery numbers, the local China delivery numbers based on the insurance data. And it came at about 11,000. Troy was expecting almost 20,000 actually. There has been talk that maybe the insurance data is not really accurate and maybe there is a huge lag, but generally speaking, it has been pretty good. What we don't know for sure is short term, maybe there is a delay. But when you add all of the data for the whole quarter, then it's pretty good. So maybe there is 1 or 2 or 3 weeks here and there that are not exactly right, but when you add the whole thing up, it's pretty accurate. As you can see, it was only off by 1,379 vehicles out of about 120,000. And in Q4, the difference was even smaller. It was only 555. And this is probably what is not really making Tesla stock go up today on a day when we had some positive news. For example, we finally had the Mexico factory confirmed. But when we put this in perspective, the first 8 weeks of Q1 are still significantly ahead of Q3 and Q1 of last year, although we are behind Q4. Here's how weekly data looks like when we compare this year's Q1 to last year's Q1. The last year is in green and this year is in this color. I think there are quite a few potential silver linings here. Number one, we know that the Model 3 production line in Giga Shanghai currently is shut down for upgrades. I think we will learn what these upgrades are going to be exactly on March 1st, so tomorrow. We may get a surprise. Maybe. We'll see. I think also a lot of Chinese consumers are just waiting for a potential announcement, a new refreshed vehicle, perhaps. I think that certainly has some impact on sales. But for Tesla to hit its 1.8 million delivery target for this year, Tesla just needs to deliver about 500,000 domestically this year, as long as the growth comes from Berlin and Austin ramps. And I have been saying this now for a few months, but I think a compact in China would really benefit Tesla. James now thinks that at best, Tesla will deliver 420,000 vehicles this quarter, which would still be a record quarter, but not as high as previously expected before we had these numbers today from China. Another potential silver lining here is Tesla maybe is more focused on exports. For example, there have been thousands of Giga Shanghai made Model 3s waiting at the port for them to be exported. And Troy confirmed that, these are for exporting because they are obviously right-hand drive and they may not be going to Australia. They may also be going to the UK, New Zealand, Japan, Hong Kong, or Singapore. And some good news here, institutional ownership for Tesla has been increasing, which makes the stock go up. And I found this on Twitter. Bought a cheap car for my son today, $11,000. Insurance agent says that it will be $1,400 to insure for 6 months. But then this guy replies by saying, my 2022 Model Y Performance costs $1,100 for 6 months, so cheaper than this cheap old car. How can this old car cost more? Insurance agent says Teslas don't have many accidents. And this is the Tesla stock buying opportunity explained by Elon Musk. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.